BronyCon just rejected our panel, so now I have to distract myself with work. Luckily, a trailer for this just so happened to cross my Twitter feed at around the same time I received the bad news. So I figure, what's the worst that could happen? End result is I get to rip into another Pixar movie, and what's the worst that could happen there? They've been on this glorious downward slope for God knows how long now. Then I realized this is literally everything I think about when there's any form of fantasy world ever imagined ever. This trailer lays out the concept that Onward is a fantasy world set in modern times, and honestly, that's like one of the main things I think about when you have a world oversaturated to the brim with mythical creatures. And let's be honest, that's in the back of a lot of our minds as well. But apart from that, all we really have for this movie is that basic concept. I have no idea where it's gonna go from here, but Chris Pratt is in it, so it's got that going for it. But I stopped trusting Pixar a long time ago. See, Pixar has been on this terrifying downward spiral ever since they released Cars 2. And then just sort of never stopped releasing shit. Of course, every now and then they'd have a decent one. They released Inside Out, but then immediately after that released The Good Dinosaur, which nobody liked. They released Coco, but then immediately after that released Incredibles 2. And before Coco, they released Cars 3. Jesus Christ, get your shit together, Pixar! These are the goddamn fuck-off geniuses that made WALL-E, for God's sake. But instead of director Andrew Stanton, we get Dan Scanlon, the bastard who directed Monster University. Does anyone even remember Monster University? Did anybody care when it came out? I mean, sure, it was alright and it didn't do anything wrong, but it was a pretty weak film, all things considered. To be fair, this is a completely different IP. It's not monsters, so we might be able to do a bit more with this. But this guy's gonna really have to impress me, especially since he's both directing and writing this. And this guy has zero track record for me to go off of, which is really never a good sign. And since we're not getting this until March next year, it's gonna be a while until we have answers. And to be fair, the trailer doesn't really reveal too much. We just get a premise behind the movie, which is honestly pretty good enough to go off of. Trailers have really gotten their shit together lately, with fewer and fewer spoilers for the actual movie that they're trying to promote. I swear to God, the Titanic trailer revealed the entire goddamn movie. Yeah, spoilers. The ship sinks. I don't know, maybe enough people complained about that. But another thing that doesn't particularly make me have high hopes for this is the stereotypical humor that this movie is trying to pull off. Like, we have gnomes doing garden work, or trolls operating a toll booth. And if this is all the movie is gonna bring to the table, then it's in trouble. Which is a shame, because it's actually a really good concept for a film. We haven't seen anything like this since that one movie where Will Smith teamed up with an orc. At least I think it was Will Smith. I don't know. Either way, that didn't really dig too deep either. Also, that movie wasn't particularly good. But no matter what happens, I will be keeping an eye on this movie. I'm particularly interested to see what happens. I'm eagerly awaiting for Pixar to get out of this rut that it's been in lately. And if this is the movie that can pull that off, I will be nothing but ecstatic for Pixar. Because I want Pixar to be good, and they haven't been. Trailers down in the description below. My name is Hunter, and that's my impression.
There once was a guy who created a machine, a thing that would take people to and from some other world. And when he arrived, he had run into a pony who smiled and decided that they both should go see a film. When that movie sucked, they decided to join forces, and then they created a new show called Hunter Reviews.